got to do something like pick up your kids, that's when you're going to get bogged. So let's go, go, go. Stop, stop.
When you first meet Kelly Young, it's not just her bright pink truck that stands out. She's clearly not afraid of getting her hands dirty.
She's very quick and very particular. I don't know how she does it on her own all the time. You know, it's hard work.
In the little country town of Broadwater in New South Wales, Kelly's better known to the 600-odd locals as the Queen of Dirt.
She's quite entrenched in the community, so everybody knows who she is. I had a customer the other day tell me that I think she's so ballsy, but he's like, that's not the right word. And he's like, it's so out of context, but he was just talking about how much he admires what she's done and to do it in a community this size.
Until 5 years ago, Kelly Young never felt she could be herself.
I knew from a very young age that I was different to most other boys. There was a constant lingering feeling of not being in the right body. You look down and you're not proud of it, you're not happy with it, it feels a bit foreign.
Kelly has spent most of her life struggling with the male body she was born into.
I got sent off to boarding school at 9 years old, tried to be as macho as I possibly could and fit into all the boy stuff. You know, by the time I was going through puberty, the body hair, the muscles and the height, the man that starts to come out, that was just hell, absolute living hell.
When Kelly left school, she became a tradie.
I was on building sites, living the macho life, putting on the hard hats. You know, the name of my business later in life happened to be Man and Machines. It's another macho, proving my manliness kind of way of tricking people that there's nothing wrong with me, when really there was.
4 years after fathering children, Kelly came out to the world.
Let's go up the turn.
It got to a point where I'd had enough. I couldn't live this lie anymore. I couldn't raise my kids with this fake parent that I've created. It was a bit like, how do I do this? How do I tell the kids their world's going to fall apart, everything's going to come to an end? But my oldest, who was 5 at the time, was like, oh, so you're not going to look so much like a man, you're going to look more like a woman. And I said, yeah, mate, that's right. He said, oh, cool, no worries. Well, my little one was a bit too young at that point, so he's just grown up with mum, me being mum.
Not everyone has taken her transition so well.
And I was secretly transitioning at work. I hadn't told anyone. I was on the hormones, and people started to notice a bit of a difference. And I thought, right, the sensible thing to do would be to tell the superiors and the big boss, yes, I'm transitioning. Work will be unaffected.
It was the last day of work she did on that job.
The response I got were words to the effect of, you are what you are, but there ain't much room around here for that kind of stuff. I had 48 hours to get my machinery off the site. It was pretty hard.
A short time later, life got harder.
We had a massive flood, and all my machinery in the truck and everything went completely underwater, and overnight just lost my entire business.
Kelly used the tragedy as an opportunity to rebrand.
I was already struggling with the name Man and Machines as a trans woman, blasted all over the side of the truck. So I thought, I need to change the name, and I need to come back with a pop. Rather than getting the truck painted white, I opted for hot pink, and the Queen of Dirt was born.
Kelly says the truck's been a great conversation starter about being transgender.
It was a useful tool in many ways to rock up to a building site, and if there was a transphobe or someone who was extremely uncomfortable, they didn't have much of a choice other than to get over it pretty quick and let's start digging, you know.
She's free-spirited and free-loving, and she doesn't care what people think, which is a great thing. I think there should be more people like that.
And Kelly's keen to launch a side business off the back of her truck.
I mean, this is Broadwater's first Pride event ever. There's a liner in the back of it, and I basically fill it full of water and put the disco lights on and the laser lights and get the music cranking, and before you know it, massive pool party happening.
And now that she's almost 40, Kelly says her reflection finally fits.
When I look in the mirror now, I see myself. There's a long way to go, but I'm happy.
Isn't that amazing? And to be able to do that later in life when you felt like you are not yourself for all those years. I was reading that Kelly recounted a really beautiful story of support from an 80-year-old fourth-generation sugarcane farmer who respected her as a male, but when she went to see him again as a trans woman, he embraced her with a hug and told her she has more balls than anyone in this town.